Welcome into week 8 of Power 5 picks. I am here with Ethan as always. We have a massive slate. This is a slate we were talking about weeks prior. Two really big SEC games, a big Big Ten game. Sorry, three really big SEC games, a Big Ten game, and a couple other games we got out there. Last week, again, another profitable week for us. That makes 6 out of 7 weeks on Power 5 picks that both me and Ethan have been profitable. Both of us went 3-2 last week. My record is now 21-15. That's 4.5 units overall. Ethan, you are 23-12-1 with plus 9.8 units overall. Again, we're seeing it really well on the show. Again, we record on Thursdays, so these lines may change a little bit come Saturday morning. But we're from our record are seeing it pretty well on Thursday. We should just really start locking in our bets on Thursday. I know me and you do kind of change our mind a little bit before game time. We do post all of our official plays over on Twitter. As the show has proven, we get pretty valuable insights on here. But Ethan, welcome. I know you got a surprise Friday game for us today.
Yeah, we post almost all of our games on Twitter. This one I'm not posting. I'm only giving it out here. So for anyone watching, it is going to be at least a 2-unit play for me. And we talked about this a little bit, at least you and I did, but I'm looking at Purdue plus the points Friday night here. And really, it's just a terrible spot for Oregon. We were looking ahead last week before the result of the Ohio State game. But I mean, point blank, Oregon 6-0, number 2 in the country, had their biggest game on their schedule last week. And not only that, we'll go one game before. They were at home Friday night against Michigan State, who I know isn't a team you have circled in the last couple of years, but it was still a home game against the first true decent name in the Big Ten Friday night. So I think it was kind of a get up game. Then they had the Ohio State game where we all saw how that game finished. They came out with the win. Now they're at Purdue. It's a travel spot Friday night on the road before going back home playing Illinois and Michigan in their next two ranked teams. Michigan being at Michigan, the defending national champion. So Oregon does not care whatsoever about Purdue in this one. And I'm not going to say Purdue is a good team by any means, but their losses this year they're 1-5. They did beat Indiana State. Obviously, they should. Their losses are Notre Dame, Oregon State, Nebraska, Wisconsin, and Illinois. Illinois, which was in overtime. So, all of their losses are there's no surprises in there. You probably thought they were going to lose all of those games. They were underdogs in all of those games, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, now they have Oregon, a Friday night get up game at home. I think the crowd's going to be into it. They don't have super high expectations coming into the year. So this is probably a game they want to get up for and keep it close. The line right now is 29 on DraftKings. I would wait, see if it can get to 30, even 31 would be awesome. But yeah, I just don't think this is a great spot for Oregon whatsoever. So I'm going to take the points with Purdue. Hold your breath. It's going to be ugly. Oregon's probably going to get out early, get a nice lead built up. But just like Michigan State did, came through the back door, I think Purdue is going to have the opportunity all day. So yeah, at least a 2-unit play, Purdue plus the points for me.
Yeah, I'm on that one as well. I actually locked it in already. It was at 27.5 all week. I bought a half a point to 28, and it turned out to bite me in the butt. But I love the spot for Purdue. I know you might be thinking Purdue's off an emotional loss overtime. Purdue, their nickname is the Spoiler Makers. That's all they do. They don't care that they just came off an emotional loss. Every single game is emotional for them, especially an opportunity to take out. Are they the number 2 team now? Number 2 team in the country, Oregon. Especially after Oregon again now has the best win in the country. Before that was Bama over Georgia. Now it's Oregon beating Ohio State. That's the best win in college football right now. Getting them on a shorter week right after that on a travel spot. It's just a perfect spot for Purdue. I'm not guaranteeing, chef's kiss. I'm not guaranteeing a win there, but it's a terrible spot for Oregon. So I'd definitely be cautious taking the Ducks in this game. You might think it's a snooze fest, but Purdue is known to do these things. And we also saw how Alabama reacted after at the time, the best win in college football. They go on and lose to Vandy at Vandy. So, I would love for Purdue to win outright. That would be awesome. But let's get into our normal slate here. We do have 3 ranked games, but starting off at the noon slate, we have one game at noon, and this is Nebraska at number 16, Indiana. Indiana is now a 6.5 point favorite Over unders dropped a little bit. It was at 51 this morning. I'm seeing 49 and a half. I'll send it to you first here. I have my own opinions on this game. I have hit the Indiana fan base, and they are very upset with me for dissing their program. But yeah, I have a strong opinion on this game. But what do you got?
Yeah, I'll keep this one fairly short because I know, like I've been salivating over that Purdue line. I know you've been salivating over this game and a chance to fade the Hoosiers. So I'm right there with you. I'm fading Indiana, the 6-0 undefeated Indiana, and you get to do so with a team that really is not that bad. Honestly, they're probably as good, if not better, in Nebraska here. Nebraska, the one loss against Illinois a few weeks back on Friday night in overtime. But since then, picked up 2 more wins. Both teams are off a bye, so no advantage there. But yeah, I think it's just too many points here. I'm not bought into Indiana. I know you're not either. I'll let you kind of have the floor on the Indiana hate, but yeah, give me Nebraska plus a 6.5. I think there were sevens available, so I'm kind of bummed that I missed that. But I will be on Nebraska. It will be probably just a 1 unit play, but yeah, I'm looking to fade Indiana, and I still think Nebraska is a fairly decent football team.
Yeah, I'm on Nebraska as well. I got them locked in. For the show, I'll give out the 6.5 because that's what it's at right now. I got them at the +7, like you were mentioning earlier in the week. Yeah, basically, I mean, yeah, Indiana maybe should be in the top 25. They're 6-0. It's pretty tough to go 6 weeks in any conference and go undefeated. But if you look at their schedule, they have played absolutely no one. They've played three Big Ten teams, and they have played the three worst Big Ten teams. And yes, they've won by a decent margin in each, which is impressive. But again, they played UCLA, they played Maryland, and they played Northwestern. Again, we thought Maryland was going to be good. Maryland turns out lost to Michigan State, and then Maryland just lost to Northwestern. I think they have another loss in there as well. So they're a three-loss team. Northwestern's a three-loss team. UCLA is a three-loss team. They have yet to play a team that is over 500. So sure, maybe you can make the argument that they're 6-0. I could maybe give them a like a Navy or an Army top 25. I think Army is 23 and Navy's 25. Like maybe we can put Indiana like at 24, kick Michigan out. Sure, I don't care. But giving them 16, for example, Ole Miss is number 18. I know the rankings are not based on right now who is the best team. It's a lot record dependent, but yeah, I mean, their strength of schedule has to be really bad. And Nebraska, like we said, beat Colorado, who actually might be a little scrappy this year. They lost to Illinois, who's a ranked team, and then they just beat, I forget who they just beat, but a pretty solid team as well. So they have a much harder schedule. They play tougher teams. I like Nebraska. I think they're going to win outright here, but I'll take them at the spread +6.5, +7. But yeah, not very high on Indiana. But I apologize to all the Hoosiers out there. I'm not trying to hate on you guys. I'm just trying to make the rankings kind of relax a little bit because Michigan does play Indiana. Probably going to be a nervous game for Michigan, but Michigan should, on paper, absolutely dismantle them. So, yeah, congratulations. You're number 16. I don't think it's going to last very long. Speaking of Michigan, let's go to the Michigan game. This is our first ranked matchup. This is at 3:30 Eastern time on Saturday. Number 24, Michigan is traveling to number 22, Illinois. This line has moved all over the place. Believe the opened with Illinois as a slight favorite and then has now currently sitting at Michigan being a 4-point favorite on the road. Over under in this game is sitting at 44.5. I'll keep this one pretty short. I'm on Michigan. I think Michigan is finally the right betting side in this game. Illinois, depending on the book you look, is between 50% to 60% on the bet, so slightly public, and the line is just moving heavily, heavily, heavily towards Michigan. They're coming off a bye. They needed the bye. They just implemented a new quarterback in the middle of a game between or at Washington. Terrible time to really have your first snaps of the year, even though he is like 29 years old. So I think this bye week was really good for Tuttle and for Michigan to get things kind of focused, regathered, and then just a line movement is enough for me to take Michigan. I'm not going to lay the points. Again, for the graphic, I will. I'm just taking Michigan money line. I'll take it however juicy it is. Might make it a 2-3 unit play. But this is a great spot for Michigan to bounce back against a ranked team on the road. I think Michigan takes it to them in this game.
Yeah, this is a game I'm not super excited about. Don't know if I'll end up betting it, but I'm going to lean Illinois. This is probably my least confident play that we'll be talking about here tonight, but or today. But yeah, I'm gonna lean Illinois plus the 4, and it's really just more scheduling based than anything. Michigan, as we know, off the national championship rematch, which obviously we've talked about over and over. You can hardly even call it that with all the turnover for both teams. Um, but still the same two schools. Um, so I think that was kind of a big game off the loss and the bye. I do think that helps them. They do have Michigan State on deck, who, it is the in-state rival. Yeah, I don't think they're necessarily looking ahead per se, but um, going into this season, I think they probably had Washington and Michigan State more of the circled teams here and didn't maybe think Illinois would be ranked in this matchup. Um, and then if you look at Illinois' side of the equation here, they did go up against Purdue and squeaked out a win in overtime last week. I do think that's because they were looking ahead to the Michigan game. So I think they've been putting in some extra work. They have Oregon on deck, but I think they're probably looking at it as Michigan's more of a winnable game than Oregon is. Get the win while you can. And obviously, you're going to circle the reigning national champion on your schedule when you have them at home, especially. So I just think Illinois has probably put in extra work. Like I said, Michigan's in kind of a tough scheduling spot. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna opt to take the points at home with the Illini here, but like I said, not really my favorite game on the board, probably my least favorite. And to be completely honest with you, I hope Michigan goes and just runs up the score, blows them out, and then has a nice little letdown game against Michigan State.
Yeah, it's tough to argue taking the home team +4 against this Michigan team. I can't really argue that much, but yeah, I trust them. Actually, I don't trust them at all, but I'm gonna put my money on them because I do every single week. But from a betting aspect, I think Michigan could potentially win me some money this weekend. Let's go on to one of the bigger games. This is an SEC game, also at 3:30. This is number 7 Alabama at number 11 Tennessee. Alabama's a 3-point road favorite. Over/unders moved up a little bit to 57 points. What do you got in this big matchup?
I don't love this one either. I want to take Bama, but I think I have to take the points with Tennessee again at home. Tennessee plays Bama tough every year, even when these teams are further apart than what they are this year. I mean, both these teams are in just a very familiar boat. Bama, as we know, off the loss to Vanderbilt and then almost lose to South Carolina last week, where Tennessee off the loss to Arkansas the same week as the Bama loss, and then almost lose to Florida last week, pull it out in overtime. So, yeah, I mean, it's just two very similar spots for both these teams. Um, I just think Tennessee probably thinks they need the win more. I mean, Bama is going to hang their hat on that Georgia win. It's going to carry a lot of weight when it comes to getting into the college football playoff. Obviously, they're going to want to win this one too, but I just don't know. I feel like the Vanderbilt loss just took a lot of the wind out of the Alabama sails. Just did not look good against South Carolina whatsoever. I know it could be a natural letdown spot. Kind of like you lose the same game twice. Just in disbelief that they lost to Vanderbilt, and it was tough for them to get off the mat and give a big effort against South Carolina with Tennessee on deck. Um, but I just need to see that flair from Bama again that we saw in the first half against Georgia. And really, until I see that, I'm going to be reluctant to lay points on the road, um, especially against Tennessee, who I think is pretty much equal to Bama this year, where they can go. And they play Bama tough, or at least have for the last 4 years or so. So give me Tennessee plus the points. But again, it's not a bet I'm looking to make. It's not a game I'm super confident in.
Yeah, this is a tricky one. I'm going to disagree a little bit, though. I'm going to take Bama on the spread here at the -3. I do think Bama is a slightly better team here. I think Tennessee is a little overrated. I know Bama lost that game to Vandy. Turns out Vandy might not actually be terrible. Um, they did beat Kentucky, I believe, last weekend. They kept a couple other games close. They beat Virginia Tech to start the year. And it was just a terrible spot for Bama. And then Tennessee, their one loss was to Kentucky. Is that who they lost to? Tennessee?
Tennessee lost to Arkansas.
Arkansas, who again we're going to talk about them pretty shortly here, but is a pretty solid team as well. But yeah, I think Bama, 2 bad weeks in a row. Their defense is getting a lot of a lot of grief over on Twitter. I think this is a game they really come out and play. Again, it's probably my least favorite read, but I'm going to take Bama. I think they can win, maybe get back on track this year. They're still not out of it, obviously, with the 12-team playoff. And again, that Georgia win is going to give them a lot in heading into the postseason. But yeah, I think this is going to be a big momentum change for Bama. I'll take them. But I don't love this game. I guess the over would probably be a pretty safe play. Like you said, they play close every single year. Both these teams really love to put up points. So I guess potentially the over, but yeah, I'll take Bam on the spread. Not in love with it. This brings us to the night slate, 7 p.m. We have another SEC matchup. That Arkansas team we just talked about is hosting number 8 LSU. LSU is all the way down to a 1.5 point favorite. Over under is 56.5. I'll keep this one pretty close. I love this game. I actually locked in Arkansas on Monday at the +3. They're now +1.5. For the graphic, I'll take them here. Huge letdown spot for LSU. I know me and you love playing on letdown spots. LSU is coming off that overtime win against Ole Miss, where they had a game-tying drive to end the game and then won it in overtime. So huge emotional win, huge physical effort in that game. And now they travel to Arkansas, who is just a scrappy, scrappy team. They're no joke. It's at Arkansas. I think they can catch them off guard. LSU also has a ranked Texas A&M on deck. Arkansas is Mississippi State. Not really anything to look ahead there. So I think Arkansas gives it them all. They're all this game. I think they have a chance to win it. I'm really happy I got the +3. I think that's a pretty good number. But again, for the graphic, I'll take Arkansas at the +1.5 in hopes that they win this one outright.
Yeah, we're seeing eye to eye on this one. I'm jealous of you for getting that +3. But yeah, at the end of the day, don't think you'll need it. I think Arkansas wins this. Just like you said, the letdown spot here for LSU. Not only that, bad sandwich spot as well. After Arkansas, they're at Texas A&M, 14th in the country, and then home against Alabama, currently 7th in the country. So sandwiched between the ranked opponents here. And then Arkansas, you would think, oh yeah, they're on their letdown spot with that win of Tennessee. Well, they had their bye week afterwards, so I think they're a little bit calmed down from that win. I think they're confident coming into this LSU game. So yeah, I think the line is fishy as all get out. +1.5. Yeah, I'd say just take the money line. I think Arkansas wins it. And we and most of America can celebrate watching Brian Kelly lose a football game on Saturday night. Can't wait. So yeah, give me Arkansas. Like that play. Might be my most confident that we've talked about so far. I like Nebraska more, but
Yeah, I like Arkansas quite a bit. And then that brings us to our nightcap at 7:30 p.m., the game of the week, the host of College Game Day. We have number 5, Georgia, at number 1, Texas. Texas is, this line's probably moving quite a bit, but currently is a 4.5 point favorite at home. Over under is 56.5. Really big game, really tough game to handicap. I'll send it to you first. I'll let you know this because I usually let you know this after the game or after the picks. You're currently on 4 dogs. 4 dogs. Are you going to make it a clean sweep again? I have a feeling you might.
I think I am. But here's the thing about this game. I have to wait. I am getting such mixed information on where the public's at. Do you have the public on Texas or on Georgia?
One
Or don't
book
you really know?
has one book has 57 and 70 on Texas. The other book has 57 on Georgia.
Okay. Yeah, I'm getting. I saw a tweet today. I won't even bother trying to find it, but basically there was 4 times the amount of money on Texas spread than what there was last week at this time on Oregon and Ohio State spread, obviously against each other combined, um, which makes me nervous. But I also think the public's definitely going to look at Georgia getting over a field goal and say, yeah, we're going to take that with Georgia. So I don't know. I'm going to have to wait and see. I could easily flip to Texas by the time kickoff is. So I'm sorry. I'm not really giving out great information here. But yeah, I mean, Georgia with the loss to Alabama, they cannot afford to lose to Texas here. But just because you can't afford to lose doesn't mean you won't. You're on the road. Texas has a lot to prove. They want to prove that they are the new powerhouse in college football and kind of dethrone Georgia. And quite frankly, I don't know if Georgia is quite as good as what we always expect them to be. But it is just a lot of points here, especially if all that money is on Texas. You know, I can't go with the money on this marquee matchup. So I wish I had more. I guess for the graphic, give me the under in this game. I think the defenses are going to show out. That way I don't have to pick my side right now. I will tweet out, even if I just have an opinion, not an official play, I will tweet that out just to give some better information come game day. But yeah, right now is Georgia. Should be a hell of a game though.
Yeah, this is a tricky one. Earlier in the week, I really liked Texas. I think I'm flipping back to Georgia. So I'm going to take Georgia for the graphic here at the +4.5. I was, again, earlier in the week, I thought this could be the end of Georgia's kind of dynasty. They don't look great this year. I took them last week against Mississippi State, and they sucked in that game. Their defense is not the normal Georgia defense we've seen. But I don't know. I think there was a look-ahead spot last week. I think this is a big game for Georgia to get back, kind of into the spotlight. We know last year they didn't make the college football playoff. The year before, did they win it the year before? Yes. They won it the year before against TCU, but last year missed the playoffs. And then this year, losing to Bama as well, who kicked them out of the last year's playoffs. So, I think Georgia has a lot to prove here, but Texas, is kind of a scary team. They're the complete team. They're kind of the Michigan of last year. All their guys stayed for this season. They're all old. They're all experienced. They all are studs. But I'm going to take Georgia. I'm going to take Georgia to keep it close. This is going to be a great game. I will say we have a great spot next week. If Texas wins, travel to Vandy. We got a Vanderbilt at home if Texas beats Georgia, moving to 7-0. They then play Vandy at home, and they don't play a single ranked game until Texas A&M to finish their season. So this is Texas's season right here. But yeah, if Texas wins, I will be on Vandy heavy next week. Can Vandy do it twice? I sure hope so. But do you have anything to add before we close out here?
No. Yeah, we're rocking and rolling here in college football. Hopefully everyone gets on Purdue early because, that is a Friday night game. So really like Purdue, but feeling good about most of the sides we gave out and looking forward to keep rolling in college football. I expect to have a big weekend in football, college and pro. So follow along on Twitter. I'll tweet out most of the plays I give out and feeling really confident this week.
Yeah, again, we do have our NFL show out as well. That comes out Friday as well as Monday for the doubleheader. We will be live possibly this weekend and always live on Monday nights. And again, make sure you do follow us on Twitter. That's where we post all of our official picks, usually a couple hours before game time. But yeah, we appreciate you guys. Make sure you guys do like, subscribe, share on YouTube. We really appreciate it. We're trying to get to 1,000 subs here. You guys' help is greatly appreciated. So thank you for doing that. And good luck this weekend, guys. Hope you guys win some money. And hopefully you enjoy all the great games. We will see you next week.
You better start listening to the Better in Green podcast. You will not regret it. Trust me, trust me, trust me. And hey, I'm Dean Blandino.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to Better in Green, eh? To Better in Green, eh? To Better in Green, eh? Listening and cash out. That's what it's all about. Come on, let's make cash now. We always on spot and we cover old spot from the bottom to the top. Hey, shout out to Ethan, shout out to Wyatt, shout out to Ben. Welcome, welcome to our podcast. Better in Green.